Hello, dear friends. Today we will be discussing something on a very important instrument in ophthalmology, that is ophthalmoscope. So, this one is a direct ophthalmoscope, and we will discuss what is the instrument like and how do we do a direct ophthalmoscopy. So, we have a subject here, and before that, I'll be telling you the parts of this instrument. So, as you can see, this is a handheld instrument. This is the battery house. We have a battery inside this ophthalmoscope, and there are few knobs and few apertures in the ophthalmoscope. So we have two surfaces. This surface, the superior part which has the brow rest, actually this is the examiner's surface, and this rests on the eyebrow of the examiner. Just below that we have the aperture by which the examiner will visualize the retina and the red reflex. Just beneath it, we have another aperture which will tell us the power of the lens which we are using, and this is the rotatory drum which will change continuously the power of the lens. Here we have the on and off button, so I have to press it and I have to turn it towards the left. Now as you can see on the table, the reflex, so this is the light which is coming from the ophthalmoscope. Now I'm just turning it off. Now on the anterior side, we have another aperture. So here, this is the aperture through which the light rays are going into the patient's eye. Just below it, we have another drum which is going to shift to various places just by moving it, and it will give you different apertures of the light. So it will give you different illuminations. As you can see, this one is a very big aperture used when the pupil is fully dilated. The smaller one, I can use this one, or even a concentric moon when I don't dilate the patient's pupil when I'm in the OPD. Now friends, it also has a blue filter. Can you see the blue filter? So this blue filter will help you in looking at the corneas where we are using a fluorescein strain, or this can also be helping us when we want to check the patient's retina with RNFL defects or some vessels. They are studied best with this filter. Now as you can see, this is very important. This gives us whether the patient is having a central fixation or not. Now when I am checking the fovea, if the fovea lies directly onto the central point of this fixation, that means the patient has a central fixation. So these are the various apertures. One more we have is the slit. Okay, so these are some apertures. Now friends, as you can see on the back surface, there are some values. If you can see, this is 10, this is again 7, 9. So these are in red colors, right? Some other ones are also there which are green in color. The rationale of changing these numbers is basically depending upon the refractive error of the patient. The prerequisites of doing a direct ophthalmoscopy. We should be preferably doing this in a dark room or a dim illuminated room. Second, we should have this ophthalmoscope, this instrument with us. The third is the patient's pupillary dilatation. Preferably, we dilate the pupil in the OPD with the help of phenylephrine and tropicamide drops. So it will take around 30 to 35 minutes. That is the action of the tropicamide, and it will remain for almost 4 to 6 hours. So we have to explain the procedure to the patient. The fourth prerequisite is that the patient and the examiner both should be emetrope. Now, it's not always possible. Like I am an emetrope, I don't have a refractive error, but what about my patient? Suppose my patient is having a myopia of -4 diopters. So here comes the use of this rotatory wheel. So when I look at the patient's retina, I'll see it blur. So I have to adjust this rolling drum according to the patient's refractive error. Suppose it is -4. When I adjust the rotating drum, and it will show me a red color 4, that means I have adjusted to the patient's refractive error, that is -4. Suppose my patient has a hypermetropia of +2, I'll further see the retina blur. So I'll quickly adjust it accordingly, like it is +2 or +3. So it will show me green colors here. Now this is the time for a demo. So we have a subject here. So remember friends, we all should explain the patient what we are going to do the next. This will reduce the anxiety from the patient's mind. He will become more comfortable. So As a good clinician, we always should explain the patient what we are supposed to do to him the next. Sir, मैं अभी ये प्रोसीजर करने वाली हूँ, तो आपको सामने देखना है. आपको कोई पेन नहीं होएगा, लेकिन बस आपको स्ट्रेट फोकस करना है. एंड यू हैव टू लुक इनटू द लाइट व्हेन आई से. जब मैं बोलूंगी तो आपको वहां देखना है. सो व्हेन आई tell the patient the procedure, he'll probably become more comfortable and my job will become easier. So when I want to see his right eye, I'll hold the ophthalmoscope in my right hand and I'll use my right eye and I'll go towards the right of the patient. So right, that's what you have to remember. Sir, आपको अपने इस अंगूठे पे फोकस करना है. So I'm giving him a target. It can be a distant target or it can be his own thumb. So wherever his thumb is going, he will be focusing from the other eye. Obviously the other eye, because right eye will be used. I want to see his right eye. Sir, आपको बाईं आंख से यहाँ पर देखते रहना है. देखते रहिए sir. Now friends, when I use my right eye, I have to close my left eye, going close to the patient, and I have my patient fully dilated. So I'll shift my aperture to the biggest one. So I'll go from here like this. Now friends, when my patient is focusing on a distant target from his left eye, the first thing which I see will be normally the optic disc. I will probably see the edge of the disc, so I have to go towards the center of that area. I will appreciate the cup. I'll appreciate the color of the disc, the contour of the disc, the margin of the disc. Simultaneously, I will also see the CD ratio, the cup to disc ratio, that normally should be 0.3, 0.4. I may also find some abnormality near the disc. Now, suppose I have to learn the procedure. Probably I will be focusing somewhere on the vessels. I may not be focusing at the disc. So I have to understand how to trace towards the optic disc. If I see multiple red vessels that are branching vessels, that means I am towards the periphery. Now when I go very closely towards the center, I'll see less number of branching areas and probably I'll be now focusing at the margin of the disc. So that is how the ophthalmoscopy is done to appreciate the disc. Now, the second part. The second part is, I'll ask the patient to focus right into the light. Sir, आपको इस मशीन की लाइट में देखना है. So I have noticed two things. One, if the fovea is focusing on that central part of that disc which I showed you. And second, I have to appreciate if there is any abnormality in the central part in the fovea, in the macula. So fovea is around the same disc diameter, the same dimension as the disc is having. The central area which is outside the fovea is the macula. So I have to appreciate two things, and that's how I assess the retina from the ophthalmoscope. Now friends, some people say that fundoscopy is also same as ophthalmoscopy. So what is the difference? Actually, ophthalmoscopy is the technique by which we see the fundus. What is fundus? Fundus is the ophthalmoscopic view of retina. Now friends, this was ophthalmoscopy, but I want to tell you one more use of this ophthalmoscope. It is used for doing DDO. Actually, this is the first thing which I do from my ophthalmoscope when I have a patient. So, sir, आप सामने लाइट में देखिए. This is how I do a distant direct ophthalmoscopy. That is done from a distance of 25 centimeters. When I show a torch of light from a distance of 20 to 25 centimeters, I will appreciate a red glow in the patient's pupillary area. So red glow tells me if the patient has the clear media, that is, media is clear between me and the retina of the patient. If I don't see a red glow, I probably see blackish areas, or I see the edge of the pupil, or I see the edge of the lens. So these are some abnormalities that I can see from my distant direct ophthalmoscopy. So this gives me a very valuable information. It may tell me that I have some kind of problem in the media. I may not be able to see the retina from this ophthalmoscope. Absent of red reflex can be seen in various things like corneal opacities, lenticular opacities, vitreous hemorrhage, etc. So this was direct ophthalmoscopy. Friends, we have discussed direct ophthalmoscopy, the method, the demonstration, the parts of the ophthalmoscope. Though it is a very, very good instrument because I can see a very magnified image. I can see magnification which is almost 15 times. Obviously, in a myope, the magnification is more because the magnification is the power of the eyeball divided by the 4. So if myopia is there, myopes have a higher power, obviously the magnification will be higher. So again, it's a good instrument because the magnification produced by the instrument is very good. It's an easy technique to be done and it gives me a virtual erect image. So I don't have to analyze where exactly is the lesion. But what is the problem? The problem is it gives me only the view of the central part of the retina, or I can see the area which is like 2 times the size of the disc. So it is a very small area that can be seen from direct ophthalmoscope. Second, it gives me a 2-dimensional image. It does not give me any stereoptic view. Third, and very important, even if I have a small opacity in the media, I may have a small little cataract, my direct ophthalmoscope will not give me any view of the retina. So to overcome that, we have another instrument. We have this indirect ophthalmoscope. So friends, it's a bulky instrument that I carry on my head. This is again self-illuminating. This has a button which gives you light here, and you can adjust that illumination by turning the knob on the right side and lower it on the left side. Now these are the two buttons which we can just push left and right. So this will be adjusting the headband according to somebody's head circumference. Now this is the knob by which we can adjust the interpupillary distance. This all needs practice. Once you start doing these two techniques, you will come to know how much is your interpupillary distance, how much adjustments does your headband is doing, and the knobs are here just to tighten all these things. Now friends, please remember, when we do indirect ophthalmoscope, we always use a condensing lens. So here we have the lens which is 20 diopters in power. Now we have different lens available, 20 diopters, 28 diopters, and we have a pan retinal view lens also. So most commonly we use a 20 diopter lens because it gives you a balance between the area seen, the magnification and the resolution. Okay, so 20 diopters. Now, what is the basic principle? So we use this convex lens which makes the patient highly myopic, and we see a aerial image that is formed between the examiner, observer and the lens. So I'll be now demonstrating how to do this indirect ophthalmoscopy. So this is the head mount indirect ophthalmoscope, and this is the lens which I'm using. So now I'm adjusting it by tightening the knobs here, and this is now finally adjusted. I have adjusted also my interpupillary distance like that. So we have a knob here also. Now I'll turn on this illumination. This is a cordless indirect ophthalmoscope. Now sir, आपको जहां मैं बोलूंगी वहां देखना है, कोई पेन नहीं होएगा, सिर्फ हल्का सा लाइट लगेगा आंख में, कोई दिक्कत हो तो हमें बताएं. So again guys, for this procedure I have explained the patient and I have a fully dilated pupil. Again, preferably this technique should be done in a dim illuminated room or a dark room. This has to be done in 1 arm distance, which is supposed to be almost 1 meter distance. Now sir, आप अपने finger पे देखिए. Again, I have asked the patient to use his finger so as he can fixate this target from the other eye. Sir, आप right hand से अपने right finger पे देखते रहिए. Now I will be checking his left retina first. So this is how I am doing. I have to change my position because I want to check the different areas. Sir, आप इसको ऊपर लेके जाइए. So this gives me a view of the inferior retina. Sir, ऊपर देखते रहिए, नीचे देखिए sir. Right की तरफ देखें, left की तरफ देखें. So I start from the superior part. Then I gradually moves on to the corner, and the last area which I see is the inferior area. Sir, अब इस तरफ से आपको left आंख से अपने अंगूठे को देखना है. So I go towards this area. सामने देखिए सर, ऊपर देख लीजिए, राइट की तरफ देख लीजिए, नीचे देख लीजिए. So in this manner, I have screened all the 4 areas. Now friends, preferably indirect ophthalmoscopy should be done when the patient is on the couch. Preferably we have to examine the patient in the lying down position. and we have demonstrated here in the sitting position. This is very, very useful, especially when we are checking the patients for exudative RD, because I hope you remember that exudative RD patient can show you a shifting fluid sign. The shift will gravitate down when you examine the patient in the lying down position. Now, though indirect ophthalmoscopy, it's a very, very useful, very good instrument, but there are some problems. It gives you a real image, inverted image, that too which is a mirror image. So if I have a pathology in the superior part of the retina, I'll see it to be on the inferior part of the retina. And that too, it will be a mirror image. Okay. So we have to make a chart. We have to ideally, on an Amsler-Dubis chart, we have to make the lesion where it is so that later on we don't have any trouble in treatment of the patient. The second problem with this indirect ophthalmoscope is it's not an easy technique. It is a tough technique. It takes time for the doctor to become perfect. The good parts are we can see almost all the retina. Even the ora serrata can also be seen by this ophthalmoscope. It gives me a good 3D, the stereoptic view. And a very, very important advantage is that even when I have a little bit of cataract, I have a median opacity, I can still see the view of retina. So these are the two ophthalmoscopes, friends, very useful for us. Everything has its own advantage. Everything has its own pros and cons.